This is why the police have been informed. I am also writing to the publisher of the newspaper, drawing this fact to their attention and reminding them of the serious security implications if personal data, which might expose members and others to risk to their safety, were to be published. The letter will be copied to all national newspapers. I turn to the matter of what action on publication, originally scheduled for July, should be now taken. I can tell the House that the House of Commons Commission will be meeting this evening to give this matter its immediate attention. Order. I'll take some points of order, but remember this, that I'm in a position that I can't reveal every piece of information or every action that the Commission and the officers of this House will take, but I'll take some points of order. Dr. Gillian Lewis.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. May I say something of a more positive nature about this? I was pleased to see that the Daily Telegraph, in publishing some of the material, has been careful to black out such information as members' home addresses. This is reassuring, given that the Sunday Telegraph has been the paper which has been arguing so long that members' private home addresses should be published to all and sundry. I have communicated with the editor's office of the Daily Telegraph, and I have their permission to say what their policy is on this. I've just received this from the consulting editor, Mr. Wynne Davis, who says, "We have taken exceptional steps to ensure that home addresses, private telephone numbers, bank account details, signatures and so forth are not published. We have responsibly withheld such information so far, and you may rest assured that we shall continue to do so." Would it be possible, Mr. Speaker, for you to consider making public the advice that this House received from the security advisor to Parliament as to what bits of data really must be withheld under such circumstances? For example, while withholding addresses, they've released the tradesman's details.
I cannot discuss security matters on the floor of this House. I've heard the honourable member, and every other honourable member have heard what he's got to say. Ms Hoy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Is it in order to point out that many of us, I hope on all sides of the House, do feel that the bringing in of police, the Metropolitan Police, who have a huge job in London at the moment with all sorts of problems, to bring the police in to try and find out who has leaked something, when actually the newspapers, as has been pointed out, have handled the personal detail in terms of blanking out very responsibly? Would it not be, is it not an awful waste of resources? And will the public not see this, whatever it's meant to be a way of hiding?
Let me answer the Honourable Lady. I listen to the Honourable Lady often when I turn on the television at midnight and I hear her public utterances and her pearls of wisdom on Sky News, and it's easy to talk then. Let me put this to the Honourable Lady and to every honourable member in this House. Is it the case that an employee of this House should be able to hand over any private data to any organisation of his or her choosing, and say, and the allegations, and I say they're allegations, is that that information was handed over to a third party to find the highest bidder for private information? And if I don't ask, or rather the Clerk of the House doesn't ask that the police brings the matter in, then what we're saying is that that employee should be left in situ with all the personal information of every honourable member, including the Honourable Lady's own information, and her employees. And let me say that anyone who's looked at their own unredacted information can see that the signatures of employees are exposed, that private ex-directory numbers are exposed, that passwords, telephone passwords are exposed. I just say to the Honourable Lady, it's easy to say to the press, this should not happen. It's a wee bit more difficult when you just don't have to give, quotes to the Express or to the press rather, not the Express, but the press, and do nothing else. Some of us in this House have other responsibilities just in talking to the press. The honourable gentleman.
I'm grateful, Mr. Speaker. I'm all in favour of owning up and apologising when we're in the wrong, but would it be in order to inquire whether the House authorities should be a little more robust in responding to the many falsehoods that have been written about our use of the allowances? On April the 4th, falsehoods. On April the 4th, for example, Mr. Ian Tory wrote an article in the financial section of the Daily Telegraph in which he falsely suggested that we were all pocketing the office costs allowance and that we are subject to special tax treatment, and that on average each of us owes the Inland Revenue $54,000 in tax a year. He elaborated on this thesis over more than 2 pages. He has repeated the claim on other occasions. Other newspapers have made similar allegations. After Mr. Cowie's article appeared, Mr. Speaker, I contacted a senior official of the House and suggested that he issue a rebuttal, only to be told that it's not your policy to respond to falsehoods of this nature. Is that the case, Mr. Speaker? And if so, would you reconsider, because we're in a climate now where any nonsense can be written about anybody, and it is dragging us all down.
Let me say to the honourable gentleman that I'll make sure that that matter is raised at the Commission this evening and how these matters can be rebutted. The honourable gentleman.